Good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to everybody, depending on what time zone you're in. I am Stav Karras, and today we are going to tier list the Metallica albums. Metallica is one of my favorite bands of all time. They got me into playing music. They're probably my number one influence as a band, and they still have a huge impact on me till this day, and I cannot thank them enough. So let's get into it. There's a lot of albums to get through, so I won't drag on too long. Hopefully not. Let's start off with 1983, Kill 'Em All. Uh, Strong album as a debut. They really came in with the aggression, just that piss and vinegar thrashy sound. The sore spots for me are the album doesn't feel that diverse. They don't experiment that much. It just feels like thrash song after thrash song after thrash song after thrash song. And look, for my personal biases, it gets a bit tiring, even though I do love metal. It just doesn't very much. And that for me brings the album down a little bit. But you know what? For a bunch of 20-year-olds that have put out their first thrash album when thrash really was only starting to become a thing, pretty damn ballsy. I'm gonna put it somewhere in the middle though, just for my personal tastes. I'll put it at C. It's a very good album for a debut, but across their entire discography, probably doesn't stand incredibly strong. That's just my bias. Ride the Lightning. All right, so even though it was only a year later, there was a noticeable jump in song sophistication. So they started experimenting with ballads. So you got Fade to Black. They're really pushing the boundaries with song length. James is pushing through with lyrical content. The production is a little bit wish-washy to me, so I'm not a huge fan of that. But Ride the Lightning is noticeably better than Kill 'Em All, I must say. So I'm probably going to put Ride the Lightning in B tier. Very, very strong album. And again, only a year after they had actually written Kill 'Em All. And they were only my age when they put this out, which is very ground shaking to think that they're still playing a lot of these songs till this day, such as For Whom the Bell Tolls and whatnot. That's nuts. Master of Puppets. All right, a lot of the thrashy fans of Metallica considers to be probably the best album they ever did. Look, I'm gonna say it's the best thrash album they did. Probably not the best album they did. Full stop, though. That's just my bias. A tier. Look, the songs are incredible. The production is noticeably better. It's a lot more clear. There's just a lot more definition in everything. You can clearly hear James. The instruments just sound tight. The songwriting is really becoming a lot more mature. So you have stuff like again the title track. You have Sanitarium. You have Orion. Great, awesome. One of my favorite songs on there as well. The thing that should not be. Awesome, strong effort. Okay, and Justice for All. So they're again even pushing the boundaries even further with song sophistication. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that unfortunately Cliff Burton passed away between Master of Puppets and this period, and that's incredibly tragic as he was an integral part to the Metallica sound, and he just made a massive impact on the band, and I don't really think they ever got over his loss, and I don't blame them. That's a horrible, traumatic thing to go through to lose a band member, especially in that way. You can look it up. It's pretty horrible. But they decided to come through with Injustice for All 2 years later, and they hired Jason Newsted. Look, uh, it's a very polarizing album, even amongst the thrash fans. It's production wise, it sags quite a bit. I must say, I don't know why they decided to put down the bass. It was just stupid. It was a stupid idea. Why hire a bassist if you're just going to fade him out of the mix? It really just does not make any sense. Like, who do you think you are, the White Stripes? Just, yeah, I don't know, but it does have its hits such as One and Blackened and Injustice for All. You can't fault those, but definitely they made some mistakes with this. They could have really fixed those in the making, but who knows what position they were in mentally at the time as well, dealing with the loss of Cliff. Black Album. All right, that goes straight to S tier. That is my favorite album ever. This is the album that got me into Metallica. This is also the album that people think Metallica sold out on. Oh no, how dare you want to be more successful? You know, how rude of you. Stupid argument. I don't get why people say that. And here's the other thing people complain that Metallica sold out and did more mainstream stuff with the Black Album. But here's what people don't realize Metallica partially decided to do the Black Album because when they were playing the songs from Injustice for All on the tour in the late 80s, people looked pretty bored with the very long 8 minute, 9 minute arrangements. And Metallica just didn't want to go through that again, seeing their fans bored. So if you want to get mad about the Black Album being released, it was you. You caused the Black Album. Thanks for causing the Black Album because I love the album, but it was your fault. You guys are to blame for the Black Album coming out because you traumatized Metallica into thinking that they got boring. But look, nonetheless, best production they ever did. It's so iconic as well. The songs are just fantastic from start to finish. Even the deeper cuts just are so fun to listen to, such as "Don't Tread on Me," "The Struggle Within." "My Friend of Misery" is easily one of the best songs they ever did. Jason needs to be credited for how incredible that was. That is a gold star on his resume, 100%. Next album, all right, Load. Now we start getting really polarizing. This is when our Metallica went full mainstream and basically went to their more alternative hard rock sound, especially in light of the grunge era. Look, I really like a lot of the songs on there. I understand why fans got a little bit upset about it. They still weren't ready to move on from the thrash era. Look, good, great songs. Like some of the songs really just tug the heartstrings, such as "Bleeding Me" and "Outlaw Torn" and "King Nothing." It's too long though. 14 songs is just a little bit excessive for me. They could have done without "Poor Twisted Me" or "Ronnie" or what's another one? "Cure." The songs do feel a little bit generic, but the ones that were kept, like the ones that I do prefer on the album, such as "Ain't My Bitch" or "2 by 4 or "King Nothing" or "Outlaw Torn," the ones I just mentioned, amazing, top tier. But the album is too long. Lyrically, incredible. Production wise, incredible. Everyone played amazing, even though there was stylistically different. Awesome. Reload. So basically, the year after, they basically gave the second set of songs that they wrote at the time, because this was all kind of written together, and they gave Reload in 1997. Slightly less good. I must say it's probably a C tier album. I'm not a huge fan of it. Again, the album just feels too long, but it has more filler tracks. So I'm not a huge fan of ones like "Better Than You" or yeah, it's hard to think. "Where the Wild Things Are" isn't. I'm not huge with that track, and there's a bunch of others, but it's just hard to think of them right now. "Low Man's Lyric" isn't huge for me, but there are some incredible ones as well, such as "The Memory Remains." I do love "Prince Charming," "Buell," "Fixer." Amazing stuff. Almost reminds me a lot of like sort of the stuff that Black Sabbath were doing in the 80s and the 90s. Just that really dark, murky, heavy, sludgy sound. Great. But a bit less good than Load. I reckon Load and Reload could have been one album, to be honest, and it would have been fine. Saint Anger. Oh, okay, yeah. You don't want to bring up Saint Anger in the metal community. This is very much the sore spot on the butt cheek of the the metal community. Look, it's not that bad. It has a purpose. Oh man, God, I'm gonna get bloody impaled for putting it on the same tier as Kill 'Em All. But you know what? This is my music taste. Go make your own tier list. Uh, yeah, yeah. So Saint Anger production can't can't justify it. It's just so freaking bad. Why did you make the drums sound like that? There's no guitar solos, so there is that. The songs are really long, but whatever there is of the songs is great. It serves a purpose. If you're feeling pissed off or feeling like crap one day, go listen to this album. It's perfect for that. Better than any of the thrash stuff. I promise. It just tugs the heartstrings in that way as well. So stuff like "The Unnamed Feeling," "Sweet Amber," "Some Kind of Monster." Really fun songs. I actually really like those, but they're just too long. They don't need to be 8 minutes, and especially if there's no solos, it just then it really makes the 8 minutes feel long. All right, Death Magnetic. So this was kind of their return to form, if you will, and they went straight back to kind of the thrash days in 2008 with Rick Rubin. I don't know. I really like the album. I personally love it. I grew up with the album as well. It kind of came out when I was a kid. So there is that bias as well, subconsciously. Man, I don't know, probably C. Mostly just for the fact that the production is shockingly bad, and I don't go back to the songs that much, even though the songs are really good. The Metallica pulled off a great feat by putting out this album. You can't fault them for that. But for some reason, I just don't remember the songs as much. I don't know what it is, but the production again is horrible. This is not even a stylistic thing. This is all the tracks are clipping. They've picked the shit out of it, which is very much a Rick Rubin thing to do. Go look at Californication. They did the same thing with Death Magnetic. All right, we've got 2 albums left. Lulu, F. Fuck Lulu. Seriously. Uh, both artists are great. Lou Reed and Metallica, both legends, put together, not gonna happen. It's like, for example, I love a good lamb chop. I also love a good chocolate cake. You're not gonna see me having them right together on a plate because that would be shit. That's how I kind of view Lulu with Lou Reed and Metallica. Just don't do that again. And it's a shame because Lou Reed, this was one of his last things before he passed away, and he did some incredible things. He's a lyrical genius, and again, he should be constantly noted for the impact he had in the music community. So it was a shame that this album was out, but you know what? They tried. Whatever. Hardwired. Oh my god, I was so excited for this album to come out. It was 8 years between Death Magnetic and this album. That was half my life at that point. More. I was 15 when this album came out. It was more than half my life waiting for the new Metallica album. And when Hardwired came out, I was my brain just exploded. I remember the feeling when that came out. That was so cool. The production, infinitely better. Sounds incredible. You can hear everything. Spit Out the Bone, Hardwired, Atlas Rise, Now That We're Dead. Murder One is a really cool song as well. Am I Savage, Halo on Fire. Just go listen to the whole album. It's really fun. Super strong effort late in their career. I'm going to put it at B tier. Fantastic album. I actually really like the album cover as well. I remember the feelings it gave me, being year 9 and this album coming out and really just being sort of the light of that year, because look, I just didn't like that year that much, and seeing Hardwired come out really sweetened the deal for me. To be totally honest with you, that was a big thing for me. So Hardwired has a special place in my heart for that reason. That's the Metallica albums tier listed. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you don't like it, there's not much I can do about that. I guess it's a you problem. But you guys have a good one, and I might do some more tier lists in the future. Peace.